Paulie, this is Luis Sando, FightHype.com with Paulie, man. First of all, Paulie, man, got to get your thoughts first. Just tell me, what was running through your mind when you first saw Conor McGregor say he got approved for a license in California?
I don't know, man. I mean, I just got back down to Miami yesterday. So I'm just here chilling, and I get off the plane yesterday, and I'm hearing all this stuff about the boxing license with McGregor. So I'm like, wow, he's serious. Because at first, for me, I thought it was just like, just stuff to generate hype. Conor's really good at selling himself, so I thought it was just stuff to generate hype with this Floyd Mayweather stuff and this boxing stuff. And for Conor, I think I'm of the belief that everybody should just stay in their own lane. Like Conor's a terrific MMA fighter, and let the terrific boxers take the media hype for boxing, and don't try to go into their lane. You know what I'm saying? So I was pretty surprised because him getting a license means there's some serious connotations to it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know. At first I was surprised. I'm thinking like, are they going to fight Floyd Mayweather? I mean, come on. This is like free money for any top 30 welterweight. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is like legitimate free money. So you're going to give Floyd Mayweather free money, or you're going to give somebody else free money. I mean, I don't see Floyd Mayweather fighting in California because the state taxes are too high. So I would only see Floyd Mayweather fighting Conor in Vegas, or a state like that. So when I heard he got a license in California, I'm like, is this guy really going to go take on another boxer besides Floyd? So at that point, my mind started turning, and I'm like, this guy, first of all, it's a disrespect to boxers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to just come into our sport and then not earn your shot at the best fighter in the world. You know what I mean? There's a lot of fighters have had to earn their shot at the best fighters in the world. So for me, the disrespect just on a combat sports level, like, I wouldn't go into the cage and start calling out the best fighter in mixed martial arts. I just feel like it would be disrespect to all the other mixed martial artists who are trying to make a name for themselves and try to attract the big fights. No matter how big of a name I was in boxing, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? So I felt like it was a little bit disrespectful.
Now, when you hear him coming in now, Paulie, I know that you said you'd be willing to welcome him into the boxing world. Talk to me about that.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think throughout my entire career, people have always taken a shot at me. You know what I mean? Like, I've kind of developed this reputation where, Paulie's a good fighter, but if you're going to take a risk fight Paulie, you got to go to him. That's probably because of, the low knockout percentage I have on my ledger, but yet I still have two world championships on my resume, so it becomes this guy's a big name. Oh, that's a big knockout power. We can take a chance on him. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. For example, Miguel Cotto was getting kind of rocked a couple times at 140 pounds. They needed an opponent from Madison Square Garden in the summer of '06. They wanted a non-puncher because he'd shown a little bit of kryptonite in his chin. So they wanted Paulie Malignaggi. They said, you know what? Malignaggi's undefeated. He's a New York guy. He thinks he can beat Paulie. So I fit the bill, so to speak, But then there's been other times, the next time that happened was Juan Diaz got beat by Juan Manuel Marquez. And you know what? We need to bring back Juan Diaz, but we don't want to bring him back against a no-name. We need to bring him back against some kind of a name. You know what? Malignaggi is the ex-world champion, but you know what? He might be the kind of name we need, and then Juan Diaz should beat him. They were wrong, you know what I mean? So that did work out, Then you have Amir Khan. You go right into Amir Khan. You know what? First American fight, we need an opponent, recognizable opponent that, maybe not a big hitter because Khan had some issues with his chin. Who do we go with? Oh, you know what? Malignaggi in New York sounds perfect. It worked out for them. Jad Slavchenko needed to beat an American fighter before he invaded the U.S. He was a world champion. He was undefeated. They were planning his entrance into the U.S. market. They needed to beat a known American entity. So they flew me to Ukraine, and they got beat. So that didn't work. So like I'm saying, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. I've kind of gained this reputation. So suddenly, I'm thinking, and then I started getting tweets about it, like left and right. Like literally, was getting tweets because I believe the hype between me and Conor is going to be more paid attention to than the hype between Floyd and Conor. I think anybody who really understands the difference in the combat sports knows the Conor and Floyd fight is a joke. I think if you really understand it, you probably understand me and Conor is also a joke. But I think you'll get more people to bite on Conor, and people started biting on it. People started tweeting about it. So I laid down the challenge.
What happens in that fight, Paulie? If you and Conor get in the ring, what happens?
Stop Conor McGregor, dude. I stopped him. And if you want to say, oh, you can't punch, how are you going to stop him? Do you understand what it is to be a boxing ring against a capable fighter, just get beat up on, and then, I know how to cut off the ring. Once you're uncomfortable, you're going to start backing off. I know how to cut you off. I know how to position you. I know how to put you in your place. I'm still a capable veteran. You know what I'm saying? I'll cut you up. I'll knock the beard off him, dude. I'll show you what kind of McGregor looks like with no beard. You know, I'll literally knock the beard off him at a certain point. I'll hit him. I'll hit him anytime I want to hit him. Is what I'm saying. So eventually the shots wear on you. You're gonna start getting cut off. This isn't MMA where you can just take the fight to the ground and, you know, avoid a lot of those big shots. You know what I'm saying? It's only striking. It's only striking with your fist. So at day's end, this is why boxers go through cuts, swollen eyes, swollen faces, bloody mouths, bloody noses, because the entire fight is all striking with your hands. So I'm going to constantly put you in that position. This is not a 5-round mixed martial arts fight where, you know, at times you take the fight to the ground and you know what to do with the fight to the ground. You got to stand up through the whole 12 rounds with me. 12 rounds, 36 minutes, bro. You know, especially when you're out of your league for 12 rounds, you know, regardless of how hard or not hard I punch, you know, it starts to add up. It starts to take its toll on you. I'm going to cut you off. I'll shave Conor McGregor. I'll take the beard off him.
Woo! Paulie, man. You got me hyped, man. So Paulie, is him trying to come into our sport, is that a good idea for him, or is it just too late for him to ever catch up to get on the level?
The way I'm seeing it is, go, just stay in your lane. You know what I mean? I'm even a fan of Conor McGregor and mixed martial arts. I respect anybody that does combat for a living. You know what I mean? You just have to, because it's not the easiest way to make a living. So any kind of combat you do, I respect it. You know what I mean? But stay in your damn lane, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you shouldn't know over your own sport by doing this, and you shouldn't know over our sport by doing this. Because in reality, they're combat sports, but they're two different sports. I just don't like anybody having that kind of disrespect, because I would never disrespect mixed martial artists. I'm actually friends with some of them, and I respect everything they do in that sport. You know what I'm saying? So on a respect level, don't come over here disrespecting, and then actually call out the best fighter in the planet in our sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not only are you disrespecting it, but then you're coming over like, who are you that you deserve Floyd Mayweather? You know what I'm saying? Who are you to even be in the conversation with Floyd Mayweather? If you were boxing, you would never get mentioned in the conversation with Floyd Mayweather, but because you're so popular in the UFC, you get mentioned in the conversation with Floyd Mayweather. It's not even right. It's not even, there's no justification to it.
Paulie, if you had to grade Conor's hand game right now, just from what you've seen in the UFC, how do you see it?
For a UFC fighter, for mixed martial artist, I believe he's got good hands. He's got solid hands. He's got a good sense of timing. But of course, what makes him more dangerous is his ability. He can kick right off of those hands. You know what I mean? So you can grade his hand skills, but you know, anybody fighting him has to also be careful with the kicks. You know what I'm saying? So his hand skills just on the hands alone diminish tremendously. You know, he leans in too hard with the left hand. He puts too much on one shot. His combination punching could be better. He goes off balance. His positioning on defense could be better, because one thing about boxing is your positioning on defense is not just about making a guy miss. It's also about making him pay, or at least giving him the impression that you can make him pay if you don't make him pay. If you're constantly just putting yourself out of position defensively when shots are coming your way, it's the understanding, having the cognizance to understanding to those depths that a guy who hasn't boxed for a very long period of his life will never understand, because it takes years to understand those concepts. So literally, that's why I tell you I'd stop Conor McGregor. I know how to put him in the positions I want to put him in, and I put him in those positions throughout 12 rounds. So I'd make his life hell in there. Eventually, you know what I mean, you're going to have to question yourself from the beating you're catching if you even want to continue. And again, that's why I tell you I'd stop Conor McGregor in a boxing match.
Paulie, if he listens to this interview, what do you tell Conor McGregor right now about you fighting him? What do you want to tell him? What message are you sending to him?
I just told you, man. I'll knock the beard off him, dude. Like, I can stay in your lane, dude. I'll knock the beard off you. You know what I mean? You're not coming to boxing. And like I said, I'm a fan. I watch all Conor fights in mixed martial arts. And I don't care. You can't be a fan of Conor McGregor. He's entertaining. He's got a funny personality, trash talking. You know, I thought his press conferences with Nate Diaz were something epic, as well as the two fights he had with him. I tell you what, the press conferences with me would be epic too. And I'm always, nobody can out trash talk me as anybody who's trying to trash talk me has found out. But, you know, then stay in your lane, dude. You do yourself a disservice by coming into our sport.
Do we see that merger at some point? Even if it doesn't happen with you, Paulie, and him, do we ever see a merger with UFC and boxing at some point in the future at all?
I mean, you see it at times. I mean, James Toney tried, and he wasn't very successful. Holly Holm tried, and she was successful to a degree. But then you also have situations where I don't know if you've seen mixed martial artists actually come to boxing. I believe Ray Mercer knocked out. I forgot who he knocked out. There was a guy Ray Mercer knocked out a few years ago who had come into boxing, and Ray Mercer knocked him out. He was a heavyweight, you know, and it was a past his prime, Ray Mercer nonetheless, you know. So you see it very rarely, but the guy who doesn't belong always gets exposed. And it's always, or the girl, you know, it's always to a degree, except, with the exception of Holly Holm, like, and even she, after she beat Ronda Rousey, got beat right away. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult. You know, I think Holly's had the most success where going into somebody else's world, into their world. But as far as boxing going into their world and then mixed martial arts coming into our world, it's the only legitimate similarities are that they're combat sports. That's it. That's where it ends. They're two different combat sports, but they're combat sports. That's it. That's where it ends. So I believe everybody should just stay in their lane for the most part.
Too fast. Too fast, too strong.